All right, we are live. We're going to be talking about the news regarding atheism, religion, culture, politics, everything that our CEO here, Susanna, has decided that we need to cover. By the way, she decides that based on the level of engagement and the recommendations from the Atheist Republic community. So it's not just she's not being a dictator or anything like that. Also, well, sometimes you are actually. Sometimes you feel like no, this is important. We need to cover it. I do want to mention that we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. On YouTube live chat, some people are pretending to be me, and some of you in the live chat are actually believing it. It's amazing how you guys not see the fact that my name has been misspelled, and you guys still cannot. I don't know if I'm upset about the fact that. Which one makes me more upset? The fact that some people are pretending to be me with the fat version of my profile, but or the fact that some of my greatest fans are actually believe, like, do you not know my name is not spelled with a W? Like, I can't. Ghost Bunny, I am so disappointed. You actually consider that could be me, even though the profile picture is a fat version of me, and even though
and this is why I am the true number one simp, because I would never.
Okay. All right.
I didn't personally think he didn't look fat, Armin, just big boned.
No, and then Fatima has changed her profile too. Is this?
That's the chubby Armin.
Is this
this is
Krishna Armin?
This is not Hindutva Armin. It's a fat version of me.
I know, I'm just teasing.
No,
Yeah.
but it's like kind of dark blue like Krishna. It's a fat Krishna Armin.
Yeah.
Anyways, we need to get to the news.
No one ever does memes of me.
I'll tell you, if anybody makes me fat, I am gonna be really upset. And that is not a challenge, you guys. Like you
don't tell them that, Rivka. Why are you telling them?
It's not. No, I'm just telling them they'll hurt me in my soul.
Oh.
Okay.
And then I'll come for you. Okay.
All right. Let's get to the news. Can I clap for the first news?
Okay, let's clap for the first news. It is not good news, but it's the first news. So let's do it.
Okay. First news.
Anti-LGBT Christian church bombed in California. On the morning of January 23rd, a crudely designed explosive was detonated inside the First Works Baptist Church, or FWBC, in El Monte, California. Investigators should have many possible suspects for this attack, primarily due to the widespread outrage in the community over the bigoted preacher who runs the church. The preacher, Bruce Mieja, is known for extreme views, even condemning Halloween, with comments like, quote, "Trick-or-treating is wicked as hell, and you're worshiping Satan, actually, and your daughter is dressed like a whore, because that girl in Frozen is a whore."
He's coming for Elsa?
He's coming for Elsa. She's a whore.
Dude, okay. Let it go. Let it go.
No, wait, don't do that. They're going to get us a copyright strike.
Okay.
Disney's no joke. I'm serious.
Oh, okay.
Disney will come after us like, oh, yeah, do not do that.
Okay. Well, he has also claimed that LGBTQ stood for, quote, "let God burn them quickly," and said that preaching against gay people isn't enough because they deserve execution. His hateful rhetoric made FWBC a frequent target of community protests, with more than 15,000 people petitioning El Monte's mayor to denounce the church and label it a hate group, saying, quote, "take them out of our city." An FBI spokeswoman in Los Angeles, Laura E. Miller, said that they have not yet detained any suspects. She said the investigation would require more time. Quote, "we have not ruled anything out," she said.
Wow. Was anyone hurt?
No,
No one was hurt. That's what I
not
thought.
that I found in any reports.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Why would anybody do this? Like, who's this? Like, what do they think they can achieve by this? I don't understand.
That's a very good point because it makes them more sympathetic. Also,
I mean,
IUDs
Christian-
are just like not good. Guys, don't do it. Don't.
Well, and
No,
also
not really?
a lot
don't
lot of
bomb
the-
other people.
a lot of these
brave position.
a lot of these fundamentalist Christians love to be persecuted. So this just fits right into what they already think and want is, the persecution complex.
Yeah.
And and the thing is, it's wrong. It's against the law. And you could hurt someone, even someone a passerby who had nothing to do with any of this. Not that, it's not a good move, but I'm guessing it was out of someone was responding emotionally out of anger.
Yeah. Well, it's.
Oh my god.
I actually do need to say that because on our Facebook page, someone commented, "Why a small church? Why not the Vatican?"
What? Holy crap, man!
Does need to be said.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are
Wow.
in the comments who are like, "I hope you're not cheering this on," because we posted about it.
Wait, somebody actually thought we were cheering this on?
Yeah, because we
Man.
highlighted that this happened.
Okay.
I mean, granted, we do have, a Facebook page of several million people, so that means we're going to get a wide swath of really dumb
Okay,
crap.
actually, let's see how many atheists were. Let's bring some comments and see how many atheists got this.
Wait, but I wanted to bring up one more thing because, wait, where was it? Okay, yeah. Meanwhile, FWBC's pastor is already considering himself a martyr. He held service outdoors this past Sunday morning. Interestingly, the title of his sermon was "The Blessings of Persecution."
See, exactly what I said.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Rivka, but I hope nobody thinks that the reason why they shouldn't be doing this is because they're going to use it and it's going to help them. I hope people are just like against this just because they're against like violence. You know what I mean? Like not because
it's wrong and you should
not
that's
because
why
like
you should be against it.
not like I hope some atheists were like this would be okay if this didn't help them. like I bet you there are some atheists like that. By the way, this is we for people who think we're like if you're a religious person watching this, like look, we if we find atheists that endorse us, like we highlight them. We're not very tribal when it comes to like atheism, like oh look, Muslims doing bad things, Christians doing bad things. When atheists have like when atheists religion their anti-religion views leads to views like this, we highlight them. Now we don't care. We're not tribal. So the top comment is the top. Actually, let me zoom in. The top comment says, "I don't think this is something people should be happy about." You don't say, Ryan. Granted, they may not have been the best people, but unless we personally knew them and their potentially bad deeds, it's hard to say. It doesn't matter if they're good people or bad people.
Yeah.
Even if they're bad, so even if you knew them personally and they're the most garbage human beings ever, this is like does this really need to be said? God damn it.
It's
it's
vigilantism, and I don't, if they think that they're, getting
yeah.
what. No, it's not right. I'm sorry, Susanna. What did you say?
Well, what bothers me is that okay, guys, we use coded language here because of YouTube. Okay, when I say terrorism, I mean boom boom type stuff, exactly like this. I've not seen anyone calling this domestic terrorism. Oh shoot, I said it.
Oh, you just you just said it.
I have not seen anyone calling this domestic terrorism. This is.
It's exactly what it is.
But
Wait,
because this person is doing terrorism against anti-LGBT people, possibly for the sake of LGBT people. We don't know, but that is what he's most well known for, is being extremely bigoted towards that group. Why aren't people labeling it appropriately? It seems very hypocritical to me.
Okay, some
Yeah.
people are celebrating it.
Well, that's wrong. And, it's a crime. It's not something to be celebrated. It's sad that people have resorted to this, or they feel justified. It's no. And I also think that your point about, feeling like they're not calling it for what it is kind of sad, because if this was another religious group who was attacked because people hated them, then maybe that, but because this guy is a seemingly ill-likable person, well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, wait. Okay. Anthony is saying, no, sorry, we have extremism now among the Christians. I find your opinion tone deaf to the political situation right now. Anthony, you're tone deaf. You think that we can't talk about both? Are you serious?
And we do have extremism, and we're not saying that we support this church's message. We're saying we support the rule of law.
Oh yeah,
this.
What a
your
dumb
opinion
idiot.
is tone deaf to the political situation right now. You think that because there's some crazy stuff happening with the right now that we can't talk about what's wrong with the left, extremism from the left?
What a dumb idiot. What an idiot, Anthony. Don't talk about something that actually happened against the church because there's other things happening somewhere else. Yeah, very, very intelligent comment, Anthony. Here's okay. Steven is saying, I honestly don't know how to feel about this. Wow. You don't know how to feel about this? Morally, it's absolutely disgusting. But on the other hand, I don't really feel bad.
Can you read that comment by Christian?
I actually really like the fact that he's acknowledging his own on some way. I'm not saying it's a good comment, but I like that he's acknowledging the fact that he knows it's wrong. But there's because that's something that needs to be talked about, is because people are cheering it on. So we have to find people like this person who's, in that spot of not sure how to feel about it, and see if we can bring them to understand that it's wrong, even though these people are assholes and you don't like them.
This comment by Christian: great job, Atheist Republic. Normalize bomb attacks. I would like to see the same indifferent candor when a radical Muslim plants went into one of your founders' home. What?
What the heck? How did we normalize this? We just reported the news. Just mentioning, what are you talking about?
Oh my God, the standard IQ of Facebook, man.
Well, it's like they have an assumption that because we're atheists and we support LGBT rights, that just by putting it on there, we're cheering it on. That is not correct. That is the wrong assumption by people looking at it. They're the ones who are making the leap, not us. We're simply talking about an event.
Yeah, you're right. They assume that because we're atheists and because we're pro-LGBT, that means that when we post a story about a church being bombed like this, that means that we are going yay. God damn it! These people are dumb. All right, go away. This is a comment that Susanna was mentioning. Why? Okay, that's crazy. I mean, the fact that these people exist shows that we do need to highlight. This is we need to call out people within our own community that have views like this, right? Whoa! Look at this one.
This is like some Kadam Rizzi shit right here.
Should we even read these?
No.
Okay, because the people who are listening to us on a podcast, these are some people that are in extreme violence against churches and Christians. Okay.
Yeah.
So wow, holy crap, who are these people?
FBI.
Like seriously, like these people need to be investigated. God damn. Anyways,
Yeah, so that was some crazy stuff that happened next week. I hope that the FBI does retain these people who did this.
okay, Rivka, when you're blowing out smoke, do you mind muting your microphone?
Oh,
When
sorry.
you-
It's not actually smoke.
Whatever.
It's the vapors. So-
Yeah, it's the CBD vape.
Ooh.
All right, we don't need to get into the details. All
I
right.
want to know. So yes, do you want to get into the next news?
Can I clap for the next news?
It's not good, but it's
Okay.
not the worst. So
Okay, next news.
okay, next news. 8-year-old girl expelled from Christian school for girl crush in Oklahoma. While on the playground at Rejoice Christian School, Chloe expressed her feelings for a fellow female classmate. Soon, Chloe was escorted to the office. The vice principal called her in for a meeting to lecture her about Christianity's extreme views on same-sex relationships. When the vice principal was finished lecturing Chloe, he called Shelton, that's her mother, and asked her to pick her daughter up from school. Shelton recalls the vice principal how the vice principal asked how she views girls liking girls. The school official looked shocked and appalled when Chloe's mother replied, "If we're being honest, I think it's okay." The following day, Shelton received a phone call informing her that Chloe and her 5-year-old brother were no longer welcome as students. According to CNN, Rejoice Christian School's handbook states that, quote, any form of sexual immorality goes against its beliefs, which includes professing to be homosexual or bisexual.
First of
Wow.
all, she's 8 years old.
Mhm.
Okay. There's no sexual stuff going on. She just likes another girl. They're sexualizing it. She's not. And I feel really sorry for this little girl because it says later in the article, the mother said that girl was crying and was asking if God still loved her. So this is another example of like the maltreatment of children by religion. So this little girl has been ostracized by her community and kicked out of and her school, and it's just I feel really bad for her, and I also feel angry that the school is sexualizing her is what they're doing. She's a little girl.
Yeah, I mean, so one thing that her mom talks about is basically being like, she doesn't even know what that means. Like, she could be saying like, oh, I like this girl, like I admire her, like she's 8. She might not even be gay. She's just trying to express her affection towards someone, and I think it's crazy that they also just went ahead and expelled her 5-year-old brother too.
What? Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so this mom has to go find a different school for her children in the middle of this pandemic. They expelled the 5-year-old who has nothing to do with this, presumably because the mom was like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, I think that's actually the crux of it, is that the mother is not appropriately upset with this behavior as they are. And the fact that the mother is saying, well, I don't really have a problem with it. I think that's actually the crux of the issue, is that, there's this guilt by association, and there's this sort of like, maybe she's poisoning her children. But I was going to say, I bet they're not refunding all their fees.
Oh,
Okay, I have some disagreements with you guys. I don't think it matters if it was sexual or not sexual.
of course
I mean,
not.
okay, but let me finish. I mean, I remember when I had sexual feelings for girls as young as 4 or 5. I remember that. And I think, like, yeah, we don't know what her feelings were, but we shouldn't. I don't think we should be like, oh, it's not even sexual. Like, who cares? I mean, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I do think like if we say that if it's not, then we're kind of maybe suggesting that if it was, then it wouldn't be okay. Do you know what I mean? So that's just I don't know, just maybe being picky here.
I see what you're saying. And I think, just to restate my point, I am not saying anything about the little girl's expression, whether it's sexual, non-sexual, whatever. I'm specifically talking about the school citing the sexual immorality clause as a reason to do this, and that they are sexualizing this little girl and saying that she's sexually immoral.
Right.
And that's what I find reprehensible.
Yeah, so they have very strict rules at this school. So, like I said before, the handbook states that any form of sexual immorality goes against its beliefs, which includes professing to be homosexual or bisexual. It also says that students who do not conform to the standards and ideals of work in life at the school will forfeit the privilege of attendance. Students are not even allowed to have public displays of affection like hugging and kissing. Even holding hands is prohibited according to the handbook. The grounds for dismissal also include pregnancy, although the student may choose to be placed on homebound to avoid encouraging other students away from, quote, being drawn by bad example to do likewise. And then her mother said, it wasn't a relationship nor a practice, Shelton said after reviewing the handbook. It was just a crush. To an 8-year-old, that could mean anything, that she really enjoys playing with someone on the playground with her. Shelton this is the mother again, admit that she did not expressly read the handbook provided when she first enrolled Chloe. She first registered her 4-year-old daughter into pre-kindergarten, but she could have not possibly known that a few years later, Chloe would have said that she had feelings for another girl. Chloe said that while she felt really sad and betrayed and kind of angry because of what transpired, she was inspired by others' supportive responses. Quote, I feel so loved and supported. Thank you so much to everyone who made me feel better for being who I am, she told KOKH, which is a local station.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that is it okay to be glad that she's out of there, though? Like, I know it's difficult for her mom and all, but this might be, like, opening her eyes to how poisonous and destructive this whole Christian thing is. I don't know.
Honestly, yeah, you're right. It probably is a good thing.
A blessing in disguise, as they would say.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not. Yeah. Okay, we have a cool. Should we go? Do you guys want to add anything else? Before we go to the next news? Oh, here. There's a comment in the. Susanna, do you want to read this?
The foot soldier is saying, my own brother's classmate was scolded for telling her best friend, if you weren't a girl, I'd marry you.
Okay. So people have similar experiences.
Oh, wow. So even just saying, if you were a boy, I would marry you that's not okay. Even saying like, I'm not going to marry you because you're a girl, but if you weren't, I would. That's not okay either. God.
Right. Okay, cool. We should go to can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Wow, amazing. Next news.
The Satanic Temple is suing the city of Boston. Dun dun dun. Okay. The Satanic Temple, also known as TST, filed suit against the city of Boston and the state of Massachusetts. The city provides council members with the choice of who gives the invocation before each meeting, when they should be accepting requests from any community member to cite the prayer without regard for which deity they worship. As of now, the city's loose adherence to the law allows council members on a rotating basis the choice of inviting which community member will provide the opening prayer. According to the Satanic Temple, the latter option leads to favoritism and effectively discriminates against people who hold unpopular religious beliefs. As noted in the lawsuit, the Supreme Court previously ruled invocation prayers must be open to local citizens of all faiths or none at all. If Boston refuses to allow Satanists to be part of that tradition, that is a discriminatory violation. The Satanists asked the court to decree Boston's quote-unquote prayer scheme unconstitutional. The lawsuit explains that TST's Boston chapter members formally requested to provide invocations in 2016 and 2017. Because TST had no council member to promote them, they were not permitted to speak. So what is talked about in this article is like how, because you need a council member to actually sponsor you to do this, it basically becomes a popularity contest.
It's de facto discrimination too, because if you
Yes.
don't have a member there, then you are excluded.
Yeah, the Satanic Temple is a gift to the United States. I don't know. I think most Americans do not appreciate how much fighting for secularism is being done by the Satanic Temple. We should find people. Can we invite somebody from the Satanic Temple to come to Atheist Republic, like some like high up officials, and come promote their church and all, and talk about what they do and their recent activities? Like we could highlight their cases, drive membership to their church by highlighting what they do. We could dedicate an art even. One of our blasphemous art could be dedicated to the Satanic Temple.
I need to see if there's one in my area.
No, I don't want I want somebody high up. That would be.
I'm gonna go. Let's explore their website for a second.
Okay.
At American Atheist Conference one year, somebody came. I'll have to look at the playbill, or not the playbill, but the thing they give you when you go to a conference. My words are escaping me. That person's name's on there, and I can find it for you.
Oh, they have chapters.
Here's the thing. I always tell people that by the way, most people in the Satanic Temple are atheists. I hope people who follow us already know that the Satanic Temple is not actual. They're not actually devil worshippers, but
Hail Satan!
But I mean, they use it symbolically. But don't tell the Christians that, because it only works because they are they fear it so much, right? So there's three ways to. So I always think, like, when it comes to the United States, the Freedom from Religion Foundation is trying to prevent anything that is against secularism to become law or become common practice. And I think like the Satanic Temple is what you get when it's not stopped and it actually becomes law or common practice, right? And I think when it comes to cure rather than preventive measures like the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the Satanic Temple is the best option, because the three ways that people, the three common methods are either like mentioning something like the flying spaghetti monster and trying to make that, like having the spaghetti thing on your head when you do pasta. Yeah, when you're doing your taking your driving license and stuff like that. Or people mention like, okay, you want religion? How about Islam in schools or in politics? And the third option is the Satanic Temple. The Satanic Temple is the best one because unlike the flying spaghetti monster, Christians actually take the Satanic Temple seriously and they're scared of it. They know that the flying spaghetti monster is a joke religion. So having the flying spaghetti, like, we're like, oh, we're gonna scare you with bringing the you want religion in school? What about the flying spaghetti monster? You want religion in politics? You want what about the flying spaghetti monster? They're not that scared of it. They're not annoyed about that. They are scared and annoyed with Islam coming into school and politics. However, the difference is
we don't want that. Yeah.
So are we. So are we. We
Oh,
don't,
baby.
we don't want to be like, hey, how about some Islam in schools and politics? Because no, we don't want that. This is why the Satanic Temple is such a perfect solution, is because it has both of the best of both worlds, right? It is like not a real religion like this flying spaghetti monster, so it's not gonna cause the harm, but it's also taken seriously like Islam by Christians. So it makes the point while not having the harm. So it's like a perfect combination of all that. I think I should be like the PR for the, like, I explain this very well every time. You should, they should collaborate with the Atheist Republic. We need this for other countries. Like, we need a combination of Freedom from Religion Foundation and the Satanic Temple in other countries.
They have the Satanic Temple in the UK.
Yeah, but they're not as.
The thing about the Satanic Temple that really works well is that because they are actually a registered religion with tax exempt status, and it plays upon the religious nature of the people that they are actively trying to hold a mirror up to, right? So they're suing under religious freedom, and that's how they enact most of their court challenges, because they're trying to show people, okay, well, you want, religious freedom. Well, that means everyone's religious freedom. And they have been successful in some cases winning lawsuits based on religious freedom. And that's what this is about. But to highlight your point about them being atheists, they have a prayer that they use, and it talks about, I'm just going to read a little bit. Let us stand now unbowed and unfeathered by arcane doctrines born of fearful minds in darkness times. They talk about demanding individuals be judged for their actions, not their fealty to arbitrary social norms or illusory categorizations. Let us reason our solutions with agnosticism in all things, holding fast to only that which is demonstrably true. So they are, by a lot of most accounts, talking about a humanist and a secular mindset.
They just look super goth while doing it.
Right. And it's this way of using people's own religiosity against them in a way.
So see, the Satanic Temple it has done with Satanism, which is basically secularized it, and just use it as symbology rather than actually believing in the stuff. I want to do that's what we're trying to do with our blasphemous art with every single other religion, right? So we're trying to secularize Islam and Christianity. By the way, I do have to highlight this. Water Power 100 is saying, I feel lonely going to watch on YouTube. So, oh, that's so sad. So we're live streaming on Twitch as well. We're gonna try to highlight Twitch comments so that the people on Twitch don't feel lonely when they are, yeah. So sorry, but okay, yeah, guys, follow us on Twitch so that we're good on Facebook and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch so that the Twitch comment section becomes active as well. Link in the description. Okay, so anything? Do we want to move to the next news?
Yes, let's.
Oh, Rivka is back here. All right. Can I clap for the next news? No. Okay. Next news.
Next news: gay men caned in Indonesia under Sharia law. Authorities in Indonesia, Aceh province, publicly caned 2 gay men, a total of 77 times each, with rattan sticks. In Aceh's Taman City Park, dozens of citizens witnessed the cruel enforcement of Sharia law. Human rights activists chided Indonesia's authorities for the sadistic showcase. The homosexual men were caned in public after vigilantes detained them. Aged 27 and 29, the 2 men were arrested in November after a crowd of residents invaded their rented room where they were purportedly discovered having a sexual encounter. Originally, the men were sentenced to 80 strokes by a Sharia court weeks ago, but instead the court flogged the men 77 times since they had already served some prison time. 4 other people suffered 17 lashes for extramarital sex and 40 lashes for consuming alcohol.
Oh, this is crazy. It's always Aceh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aceh. That's the province in Indonesia that is the most religious and has the most
Yeah,
Sharia.
so my understanding is that it's not every province in Indonesia that's like this. This is fairly specific to Aceh because of like an agreement when there was a bit of an insurgency. Since Sharia law took effect in October 2015, when the government conceded to end deeply rooted separatist insurgents, Indonesia citizens witnessed the third caning for homosexuality, which was this caning. Sharia law is practiced only in Aceh province.
Yeah, but Indonesia needs to be held responsible for that, even though it's not all of Indonesia.
Oh, of course. Like one law for all, let's be clear. It's really barbaric.
What bothers me about this too is that it's almost like rewarding this vigilantism, so these people took it upon themselves to break into these guys' room in a private room that they were behind, and then the police, instead of prosecuting the mob that broke into their room, no, these guys are the ones who are being prosecuted. And it's like that, that's what I really dislike about a lot of this, is that it encourages everyone to be a vigilante. All you have to do is call it out, and then people's lives are in danger.
Yeah, and it rewards that behavior because it validates it when they actually do demonstrate corporal punishment against people for things that they were doing in private.
Bish has an interesting comment, which is true. Seems like he or she is saying, seems like Aceh province is the Sharia Uttar Pradesh of Indonesia. Yeah, so Uttar Pradesh in India is like Aceh and in Indonesia. They have a very True. And both Indonesia and India are getting more and more religious, so that's also something too. I mean, the government, at least, not the people.
Indonesia did recently ban the Islamic Defenders Front, though, which is a hardliner party, so that's really good.
That was a good move, yeah. Yeah, I agree with this as well. Okay, did you guys want to add any comments before we go to the next news?
No,
can I clap?
Huh? Yes, we can. It's really good news.
Yay! Next news.
The United Kingdom proposes amendments to help Jewish women denied divorce. So, the Labour and Conservative parties, Liberal Democrats, and independent politicians joined forces for a proposal that could provide optimism to Jewish women in the United Kingdom. They presented a motion for updating the domestic abuse bill to help any woman whose husband refuses to divorce her under Jewish law, thus proffering hope to approximately 30 women in the UK currently being denied a get by their husbands. A get is a divorce under halakha, which is Jewish law, and can only be given by a husband to a wife.
Hakala.
Okay, sorry. The refusal prevents the wife from marrying again under Orthodox law until they obtain a get from their husband. If he refuses, the wife becomes known as an aguna.
Aguna, chained woman.
Yes. Aguna refers to the wife becoming chained, prevented from remarrying or having children in harmony with her Orthodox beliefs. Members of the House of Lords, the upper house of Parliament in the United Kingdom, proposed amendments to protect victims of get refusal. So, I thought was really interesting because well, like, what standing does the United Kingdom have in Jewish law? You know?
And the thing is, like, it's just a ritual divorce, right? So, like, you could get a or have a civil divorce where you're not divorced under British law, or
Mhm.
not married rather under British law, but you can't remarry in the Jewish tradition, Orthodox. You could if you Reformed or humanistic without the get. And the thing is that a lot of those women that they're talking about are in kind of domestic violence situations or situations with their husbands manipulating them, like demanding money, demanding they drop charges against them. If they've got charges,
I wanted to read some of that. So
yeah.
Here's some situations that exhibit like how bad this get refusal can really get. Haha. Lord Mendelsohn highlighted the situation where a woman gave, wow, £150,000 to her ex-husband in exchange for her get, which was less than that awarded by the civil court, and being forced to sign a document relinquishing any ownership of the joint properties. She was encouraged by the Beth Din to accept the offer as a legitimate way to secure her get, but she did not choose to do so. A third woman's husband was being prosecuted for the sexual abuse of her children. In trying to secure her get, she was asked to lie to the police and tell them that the accusations had been fabricated so that she would be given her religious divorce. Additional financial sums were requested. The husband made further demands that were impossible for the wife to fulfill. So you can see how this ritual divorce is used to extort women.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible.
The thing about it is I don't know that the state has any standing when you get married religiously or not. The state still issues a marriage license. You're still married under their, secular law in terms of civil marriage. And you can, in a lot of places, get divorced regardless of whether you have a ritual divorce or not.
Yes.
So the point is, you have to care that
Mhm.
you have a get, that you don't have a get, and you have to want to remarry under Jewish law. But also, there's another thing that even if, let's say, you don't care, you get divorced in a civil action, you don't have the get, but it can affect you within your community and your children, right?
Mhm.
The way people may refuse to serve you, not allow your children in, schools, or then even if you didn't remarry, but you'd still be punished for being a philanderer or a fornicator because you're still chained to the husband.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this is a huge problem for a lot of women, particularly in a religious place like Israel. This is the UK, so they're trying to help. I think that they're maybe attempting to intervene in terms of the extortion that's going on and help them that way, because there's nothing they can do to make them demand that they get a get, although they usually have a rabbinical council that sometimes can overturn it. But it's rare. I mean, there's a phenomenal film about that I probably can't say because I get in trouble for Armin might, but if anyone's interested, we could put it in the comments or something.
The name of a movie?
Yeah.
That's not going to get a copyright strike.
Okay, it's called The Trial of Vivian Anselm, and it's all about a get, and I would encourage everyone to see it because it's a phenomenal film, but it also gives you the real sense of how misogynistic, controlling, and also the extortion and things that people use, and how women are treated because of the way they're talked about in these get courts, and their behavior is on trial where the husband's isn't. I would
Yeah.
very much encourage anyone to see it.
When there's literally instances of like sexual abuse and domestic violence, and
Mhm.
it becomes a character assassination of victims. It's crazy, and
Yeah.
it's cult behavior, frankly.
Exactly. And that's the term aguna, meaning chained woman, is why the only United States organization that fights child marriage in the United States, it's called Unchained at Last. And it's was started by a woman who was a Orthodox Jew and in a forced marriage.
Was she the woman that Unorthodox was made about, or was that a different woman?
No, her name's Frady Rice.
Okay.
She's pretty amazing. But anyways, that's a different subject.
We have 2 super chats. One by AGA, $20.
AGA, you're back.
Wow, thank you so much. Very generous.
Thank you.
Susie, you want to read these? I'm gonna get the second one.
Joanna gave us 20 Australian dollars. Thank you so much. Saying we did it. Victoria, Australia passed the bill banning conversion, quote unquote, therapy, making it illegal to engage in the practice with a hefty fine or up to 10 years in prison.
Mazel tov!
Yay, Victoria. That sounds like something we need to cover.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know.
I have no idea how to say this, so I'm just going to call you Ali. Ali gave us $5 with no comment.
Yay, thank you. Thank you so
That's
much.
what's I missed like being able to highlight comments and stuff with the super chat
We get
because
super
you're on
chats
the
now. Amazing.
other channel.
We're
back, baby.
We're back. I wonder how many super chats we lost. Okay. Can we clap for the next? Yes, we can clap for the next news.
Yes.
Next news.
Canada's House of Commons votes to grant Raif Badawi citizenship. Okay.
Wait, I was muted. Wait, I was muted. I was muted. All right, there we go.
Mazel tov, Canada and Raif.
Okay, so, and if you guys don't know who this is, we're going to tell you why this is important. The House of Commons in Canada was unanimous in voting for a motion demanding Raif Badawi be given Canadian citizenship. Raif Badawi, the Saudi blogger, was sentenced to 10 years in a penal institution and 1,000 lashes because he established a web-based forum to discuss Saudi Arabia's social issues. The now banned website was called the Liberal Saudi Network on Facebook. It was the Liberal Saudi Network, and it was on Facebook. The Saudi officials accused him of insulting Islam and convicted him in 2012. His wife, 2 daughters, and son reside in Quebec. The legislature voted in favor of the Bloc Québécois, which is a federal political party in Canada devoted to Quebec nationalism. So Bloc Québécois' motion to ask Macron Mendicino, who's a member MP, who's the Minister of Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship, to offer citizenship to the imprisoned Saudi activist. Badawi's wife, Ansaf Haider, stated, quote, even if it doesn't change Raif's conviction, even if he stays until the end of his sentence, which is June 2022, it would boost Raif's morale. It would boost our morale too. It will mean that when he gets out of prison, he will be with us right away.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Ansaf and her kids too. And she is a tireless campaigner in support of her husband, and she's pretty amazing woman as well in her own right. So good job.
Yeah. And this is the third attempt to grant Badawi Canadian citizenship.
Wait, why has it failed? This seems like it's such an easy win.
Well, let me find the background information on
why. Oh, sorry, I put you on the spot. I'm going to read Imam Hussein comments. Imam Hussein saying, I highly recommend people look up his work. He's a true champion of secularism. Yes, he is.
Mhm.
And he took so much risk for it.
Back in conservative MPs opposed a similar motion in December 2019, which was also presented by the Bloc Québécois. Ansoff Hyder, Raif's wife, traveled from Sherbrooke, Quebec to Ottawa, Ontario. Unfortunately, she left the court discouraged. Raif was on another hunger strike during that time.
Yeah, this is actually a major would be really good and all, but I have to understand that this is also a major favor to Canada. Canada will be a much better country for having Raif as a citizen. Like,
oh
it
my
should be,
god, yes,
it should be. It should be an honor for Canada to have something. It's
seriously.
Raif as a citizen. Yeah.
So here's some. But government sources hindered the idea of granting citizenship to Raif Badawi, stating that, quote, we're not totally convinced they would improve the situation. They added that it could make things worse for him. But his family is very excited that even if it's mostly just ceremonial.
All right, so I'm not gonna say if they're doing, like, if that's the concern. I don't know whether it's legitimate concern or not a concern. That's a because without knowing I've been in cases like this to know, like, whatever happens in the background is a lot more nuanced and a lot more complicated than a lot of people usually understand. So if that's the consideration and not it might be legitimate. Okay, I'm not saying it is or not, but it's better if that's the calculation rather than some other stupid reason that I imagine it could have been, right? So again, that needs to be evaluated, and I know a lot of people who do decide these, they have a lot more information than we do. Again, I'm not saying whether it's a good idea or not, but if that's the calculation, I'm glad that something like that is being discussed rather than like, some anti-immigration kind of stuff. But Rivka, you want to say something?
I was gonna say that I agree with you that they were thinking ostensibly about Raif's welfare rather than some other reason. But I feel like if Ansaf has been trying to do this before and she continues, that there must be, aside from the morale boost, there's got to be, at least I would think in her mind, some thought that it's not going to necessarily negatively affect his situation, because she's been attempting to do that, I would think. I don't know. But again, like you, I mean, who knows all the infinitesimal minutia. But I know that they're able to talk to him on the phone occasionally, and his morale has been really low. And this is something that gives him a sense of hope, which for political prisoners is extremely important.
Yeah, especially since we reported a few months ago that there wasn't very much information about it at the time, but his wife communicated to the press that he said to her that he had basically survived an assassination attempt within prison recently. Well, and that was so there was a long period of time in which they had no communication, which was unusual, and it was during that long period of no communication that this attempt on his life took place. So just a few more details. When he read the motion, Bloc leader Yves Francois Blanchet highlighted that Marco Mendicino had non-obligatory power to authorize citizenship, since Raif is in a, quote, particular and unusual state of distress. Quote, it's a moment we've been waiting for almost 9 years. Now that this is a formal request from the House, Justin Trudeau and Minister Marco Mendicino must act now. Every day counts for Raif Badawi and his family, as his health in prison is constantly in danger, Mr. Blanchet stated.
I hope the calculation is not secretly relations with Saudi Arabia, right? As much as this going forward, if it does go forward, we were going to congratulate Canada for doing this. That doesn't mean that we're not going to criticize Canada and shame Canada for the fact that they're still selling weapons to Saudi Arabia while
Mhm.
using it on Yemeni civilians, even though United States now seems to be ahead of Canada in putting a freeze on that.
And
And I hope,
Italy.
yeah, and Italy apparently as well. So if I hope that this is not secretly about that, again, I don't know, right? But yeah, and somebody mentioned that. But guys, do not, like, some people think like this is like the are a little bit too happy. This is like this guy. This is not gonna. He's still gonna be in jail. Like, he's still in Saudi Arabia. He's still stuck there. Like, this is good news potentially, because I'm hoping that if he gets a Canadian citizen, it's going to be very damaging for Saudi Canada relationship to hold a Canadian citizen in jail. So that's the potential of it. But like, let's not be like, don't wash your hands off of this. This is like just only a small step. Like, we've been look, we actually interviewed Ensaf Hader 3 years ago. Like, I don't understand. Somebody in live chat saying maybe invite Raif and Ensaf to AR or secular jihadists. How could we invite Raif? He's in jail. He's in Saudi Arabia. He's in jail. But we did invite, if you actually search for secular jihadist and stuff, we had her on 3 years ago, and because she couldn't speak English, we had even a translator to translate all her answers. So you guys could go. This was 3 years ago, and she's been fighting to get her Raif out of jail for so long, and she hasn't stopped
Almost
being.
10 years. Almost
Yeah,
10 years.
this crazy. Yeah, man.
Wanted
Like,
to. Oh, I'm sorry, Armin. Are you still
no,
talking?
just one last thing. I just feel like sometimes Raif in jail thinks like I think his case has been forgotten. And I think one thing that this does is just helps bring it back to attention. But yeah, go on, Rivka.
So I wanted to just bring up the fact that Quebec and the city of Montreal have condemned his detention and his flogging, and the mayor of Montreal in 2015 requested that he be sent to Quebec, and they publicly condemned it. So Quebec has been keeping, Raif in the news there, at least in certain terms of talking about him, continually holding events. And of course, that's where Ansaf lives. But it's just something to bring up that the people in that part of Canada and in the city of Montreal and in Sherbrooke, where she lives in Quebec, have continuously supported him, kept him in the news, kept his name out there. And so I feel like it's an extension almost of the work that they've been doing, that the House is finally saying, yes, give him citizenship and sending it to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, and I mean, it just bears stating that this isn't official yet. He's not a Canadian citizen yet. There are still several more people that need to sign off on this, including the Prime Minister. So this was just the House of Commons. Like, it's amazing forward progress in this, but it's not official. And so it still needs to be pushed forward to become official. But yes, I'm always on the lookout for news regarding his case. And that was an excellent update this week that I knew we had to cover. So I think it's time for the next news. And it involves some from nonsense. I'm learning a little bit of Yiddish from Rivka, okay? It's religious nonsense, so let's clap for it.
All right, next news.
Ultra-Orthodox Jewish community fights police over Israel's lockdowns. Ultra-Orthodox Jewish demonstrators recently clashed with police in two of Israel's major cities. Enforcing coronavirus restrictions in these religious neighborhoods has brought great challenges for local authorities. Most ultra-Orthodox Jewish sects have defied virus safety regulations throughout the pandemic by persisting to open schools, pray in the synagogues, and hold large funerals and weddings within their communities. Protesters opposed police efforts to enforce coronavirus lockdown restrictions. They reportedly used flaming garbage dumpsters to block the roads, threw rocks at moving vehicles, and damaged a bus. Blatant disregard for safety measures contributed to a disproportionate infection rate within the ultra-Orthodox community. Members of the religious sect account for more than 33% of all of Israel's coronavirus cases, in spite of making up only 10% of the population.
So I've heard that figure is even higher, into the 40s, that they're making up. But in addition to making up a large percentage of the infections, they are given the very small amount of fines or citations compared to the population at large for violating stuff. Now, this is a clash, but when they're giving out individual fines, because Israel has a very strict lockdown that they're still under, it started in December and it's been extended. And so people are fined and given citations for breaking these restrictions. But according to some of the stuff I've read, the amount of fines and citations given to your average Haredi religious person or ultra-religious Orthodox Jew compared to any other citizen is much, much lower, because they're a huge political voting bloc. And that's also been part of the problem in terms of pushing the restrictions. So if you notice, if you watch the video and when you go on the site, they're calling the Israeli police Nazis. This is a tactic that they use all the time. They call them Nazis when they, I mean, the N word, sorry.
Oh, yeah, we say Yahtzees.
The bad people from World War II who are German that start with N.
Okay,
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry, I completely forgot.
That's okay.
But this is a tactic they use all the time. And I find it very, very frustrating that they are using a huge portion of the country's resources in terms of the infection rate, the police, all the work that they're trying to do to get them to adhere to these rules, plus all the medical care that they're getting, but they don't, and this is a generalization, so not all, participate in the country, not working, getting all kinds of living on benefits, not going into the army, not doing anything that the other citizens do, but yet, and taking all these medical resources and refusing to participate. And then the final thing I wanted to say about this is I think the Israelis are getting this wrong in terms of how to make them either leave when they're blocking places or comply. What they need to do is deploy a force of scantily clad, preferably menstruating young women. As soon as that happens,
run!
They will scatter.
Preferably menstruating.
Exactly. Honestly,
that should be weaponized.
That is, and it actually happened once in Israel. Some Haredis were protesting and kind of, mobbing up around a bunch of people at a cafe, I think for, being open on Shabbos or something. And the women finally just took their tops off.
Hell yeah.
And they all ran away. So
why is this not being used more often?
Exactly. I don't understand. They use the skunk water on them. They're, and also police.
It's more humane as well.
Exactly. And police have actually been injured. There have been police who have been severely injured.
I want topless Israeli police. Female topless Israeli police.
Well,
is that too much to ask? Is that too much? Is that too much to ask? I want topless female Israeli police against the Orthodox Jewish people.
I know you have a crush on the IDF girls.
Like,
Who doesn't though?
But the thing is, yeah, I mean, honestly, because they do have a prohibition about, women who aren't in their family, so use that against them. But it's really frustrating because there's such a big voting block that they are given all kinds of special deference that other people don't get.
put topless women at voting stations. There you go. Everything can be solved with titties.
But okay, here's the thing. I don't think it as a paid employee of the state can be like, okay, we need you to go out and be topless. Like, I don't think that's gonna fly. So we need volunteers. We need people who do not represent the government as volunteers.
Yes.
To go free the nipple.
They don't even have to be topless, just a bra.
No, shh, you're ruining my plan. It won't work unless they're topless, okay?
When you add the menstruating factor too, it's just a double whammy that they will scatter like bugs when you turn on a light.
Oh my gosh.
Can I just I know this is not relevant to the news, but I'm looking at our news coverage and I just want to, like, the entire team, our web developer, our news writer, and Susanna, look at the way we're writing our article. Like, everything, like, we have the explanation, we have the embedded tweets, we have link to the sources, we have discussion videos, we have some interesting tweets covering it. Like all the links, guys. If you should go to atheistrepublic.com. The news section is pretty good. Like, it has everything in one place. And just add to the comment section. Like, go there and start a discussion, right? But yeah, and also our website is gonna get it's gonna look a lot more clean going forward. So it's gonna
we're redoing the website slowly but surely. It's happening.
Yeah, but right now, it's just like I'm really impressed with the entire team, Atheist Republic team, the news section of it. So thank you guys. Anyways.
And I want to echo that, but I just want to say one more thing. The amount of resources that the Israeli government has been spending on trying to deal with these people, these groups, and bring them to heel is phenomenal. I mean, they had sting operations inside some of the communities where they were pretending to be Haredi.
Oh my God.
Because they attacked the police.
Oh my God.
And there's discussions about, the virus, the vaccines, all of these things, and the resources, even if you're just talking police or tertiary resources, and then all the hospitalizations, it's really criminal that they're just using up so much resources and refusing to be a good citizen of their country. And
only for rabbis to turn around and say that the vaccine
makes you gay.
Makes you gay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, hell yeah.
I mean, one rabbi.
And the thing is they're all, in the end, they're really hurting themselves because they've lost in New York and in Israel huge portions of their community. Elderly, rabbis, teachers, cantors, all these people have died because of this refusal to adhere to these rules. So,
and it's so ironic because so much of, maybe I shouldn't say so much, but my understanding of a lot of the ultra-Orthodox culture is this idea of replenishing the 6 million lost in World War II, right? And then so there's like extra pressure on women to get married early and have children early because of this, only to not obey health standards that are actually going to help you in that endeavor,
Right. And there's arguments about that they're being, purposely, adversarial in the sense, almost as a way to flaunt their power, and we don't have to do what everybody else does. We don't have to adhere to the same rules. We don't have to join the army, even though the Supreme Court has ruled that we do. We are, so it's this way of flouting this religious privilege that they believe that they have, even though they, and again, I'm not trying to paint everybody with a broad brush, but they really don't contribute to the country. Now, some people might say, well, the religious, but no, I'm talking about concrete things.
Economically,
militarily, and
technologically, because the men
yes,
study Talmud.
And that's what's interesting in this misogynist group. Most of the women are working, but the thing is, they're not being good citizens, like you were saying, one law for all. You can't have some people that get to flout the rules and other people that are punished for flouting the rules,
especially on the basis of their piety.
Exactly. Which is funny because a lot of the sages that these guys used to quote would say something called the piety of madness. They would talk about, and that's what I see like these people engaging in.
Mm-hmm.
They're so pious, but they're also using that as a cudgel.
They've lost their common sense.
They've lost their common sense. They've lost the big picture.
Yeah.
So
we got a super sticker from Varun.
Yeah.
Thank you for the $5 super sticker. And it's a pear. And it's going, keep it up.
Yeah. I do want to say that Swap, I don't know how to say your name, but he or she lives in India, so he or she is saying that they can't access our website from India. Only some ISPs have blocked. Everyone from India, they cannot view our Facebook page. Our Facebook page has been banned in all of India. Our website has been banned by the government, by some. So the government was involved in banning our website in India. Our Facebook page. But only some ISPs have banned our website in India. Both should be solved if you use a VPN. So sorry that for our Indian and also Pakistan has also banned Atheist Republic in the country. But if you use a VPN, you should be able to access both our Facebook page and our website.
Hashtag the Pakistanization of India. Congratulations.
Right. We now have 3 governments coming after us, basically. Atheist Republic. One of them decided not to, so Pakistan completely blocked Atheist Republic. India has now blocked Atheist Republic. Malaysia discussed in their, I don't know, it was a Congress, it looks like Congress, but basically their deputy minister and everybody was discussing how to block Atheist Republic, and they decided that at that time Facebook didn't have the option to just block a specific page. So they were even considering blocking. They asked in a serious government politician in Malaysia on the floor asked whether they can block all of Facebook to remove access to Atheist Republic, which is amazing. But we also got another super chat. Wow. Okay.
Oh, another one by Varun. $10. Thank you. Saying, fellow travelers in the galaxy, this is one kosher channel, aka Real Deal Atheist. I can't ask anything extra with what is going on, but would love to see more Hindutva exposure. Thanks again. Oh, well. Hang around for our last news, Varun.
Yeah.
You'll get a little something something.
There'll be exposure.
Yes. Going after Hindutva is going to be one of the main goals of Atheist Republic. They came after us. We're gonna go back. We're gonna head back. So don't worry about that.
But thank you again.
It's all right. It's tiny Atheist Republic against the world's largest political party. So we'll see.
Like me from my bedroom taking on the BJP.
BJP. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
It's not good, but let's clap.
It's not. Nobody died, so we can clap. Next news.
Next news. Pakistani university requires female students to wear a black abaya. So I thought this was kind of interesting. Professor Dr. Bashir Ahmed, the vice chancellor who presides over the academic council meeting held at Bacha Khan University in Pakistan, recently issued guidelines for a new dress code. In doing so, Bashir said that cultural and religious teachings are to be taken into consideration. Female students must wear a black abaya with a white or black scarf. An abaya is customarily black. The dress is fashioned like a relaxed or slightly baggy robe or a kaftan, and it covers everything but the face, hands, and feet. The male students are only allowed to wear a white or black shalwar kameez. The vice chancellor maintains that, quote, proper arrangements should be in place for teaching students the religion, the Quran, and its translations with proper explanation in order to make the younger generation better and responsible citizens, end quote.
So I have to say one thing. This is not Pakistani culture. This is Islamic culture, which is not originally the culture of Pakistan. So he's talking about,
Actually, Pakistan doesn't have any culture other than Islamic culture. Pakistan's culture is Islamic culture. Pakistan's it was technically should be Indian culture
right.
before
That's
Islam.
what
Yeah.
I mean. Like the traditional dress or the things that women wore in India or any part of India that then became Pakistan. That is not this. And it really upsets me when they talk about culture in terms of this dress as if it belongs to the traditions of how people, the different groups or tribes or ethnic groups, whatever, dress. It wasn't like this. This is not. Anyways, that just made me.
Yeah, it's erasure. Kenji is saying learning religion would definitely not make them better, more responsible citizens.
I mean, learning about religion is the best way to become an atheist. But yeah, okay. But yeah, I do want to. Somebody in the live chat is also agreeing with me. Pakistan has no culture. Pakistan was founded on Islamic principles. Yeah, I mean, if you could think of any country where it's basically just the culture is just basically Islam, and there is no like if you think about like Iran, Malaysia, Indonesia, there is Islam competing with the pre-Islamic culture, or Egypt, right? But when it comes to Pakistan, they completely erase what was there before, which was Indian culture, right? It was India, and now it's just basically the culture that like it's just Islam, which is I don't know. Actually, Saudi Arabia is no Saudi Arabia. No, it's mostly Pakistan. It's just Pakistan. Pakistan is the only country that is devoid of any other culture than other than Islam. But yeah, which is sad. You can see the results, by the way. Like you see that it's pretty much it reflects you can see what happens when you have no culture other than Islam. You get Pakistan. So yay, Islam.
Yeah,
Cool,
it just.
good.
You're right. I mean, you're definitely right. I was just thinking about like the tribal dress of all these different groups in that whole area, Indian or their whatever their ethnic tribe. It's not this black abaya.
We got a super sticker by Al Uza Akbar. Thank you so much.
Wait, what is
That's
this
one of
sticker? I don't have
it's
one.
okay. I'm gonna say it's a fox. I know everybody disagrees with me.
It's a
It's a
Shiba
fox.
Inu.
Oh, all right. It's a fox giving
Dog.
us hearts. But anyway, this the Al Uza? Okay, never mind. I don't know.
As in
Uh,
Aluza, Alat, and Manat? Yes, it is.
yeah, it is. Oh, okay, cool. So one
We
of the
have we
daughters.
have a daughter of Allah with us right now.
We have a daughter of Allah in the live chat. Amazing. What an honor. What is this tweet referring to? I don't understand this tweet. Can you explain the irony? What irony? What's being displayed here?
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because it's supposed to be a university and they're going backwards or they're, I'm not really sure.
Sorry, when I was like, look, did we read this part? I was trying to get this guy got this from the article. Did we read this part?
So Charles is saying university justifies position, citing 2018 studies showing misogynistic men are 32% less likely to harm women if they mistake them for furniture. This person is making a joke. University also cited studies showing men less prone to attack women when they cannot see the woman's facial expressions, especially that look of, quote, utter disappointment towards weak-minded men privileged with a superior social status justified by doing nothing more than the words of medieval men justifying their own undeserved superior status.
That's good. That was actually good. Wow, this is pretty funny. Okay. Okay. Wait, should we go to the next news?
Yes.
Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Next news.
Next news. Belgium officials to deport Turkish imam for promoting homophobia. Belgian officials are deporting a Turkish imam for, quote, sowing the seeds of hatred with homophobic comments on a popular social media platform that facilitates the power to affect public opinion. In one of his posts, the Green Mosque's nameless imam referred to the sermon by Ali Erbas in April 2020. Arbas is Turkey's senior cleric and the head of Turkey's Directorate of Religious Affairs, who spoke during the commencement of Ramadan, declaring that, quote, Islam curses homosexuality. But the imam posted that, quote, homosexuality is an illness, adding that Islam forbids it. The imam also agreed with one Facebook user's comment that said, quote, homosexuality is a virus of capitalism and democracy.
Wow. Every people in the live chat said with me. Wow. All right.
Sami Mahdi, the Belgian Secretary of State for Asylum and Migration, told the imam there's no place in Belgium for those who sow the seeds of hate. He also refused to extend the imam's request for a living permit. Oh, you're muted.
My question is, why would the imam want to live in a democratic capitalist country?
Uh-oh.
If he thinks he agrees with the person who said that homosexuality is a virus, you'd think he'd be happy to be expelled.
Yeah, go, like, okay, I'll continue.
What? No, you go on. What are you gonna say?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna put my Islamic hat. I'm gonna put my Islamic hat on and say that, well, because I'm trying to spread Islam where it needs us the most. There you go. That's the standard response, right? Rivka, you're muted.
Well, yeah, of course he would say that, but I was just making a joke saying, it's just very common that you see, and we see this even in, a lot of other people are hating the country that they're also asking for protection or asylum from,
Yeah. What would you? Okay, do you guys both agree with this decision?
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Citizenship or residency is a privilege.
Yes, exactly.
And if you don't share the values of that state, they don't have to take you.
I absolutely agree. They can decide who they want to give citizenship to, and if if you don't share the values of Belgium, then Belgium is well within its rights to say, you know what, go back to where you came from.
And I mean, technically he's not, I don't believe he was actually applying for citizenship.
No, he had said a residency. Yeah, so yeah, he's just declining to extend his permit.
Mm-hmm.
Your permit's up, dude.
Yeah, and they're expelling him. I don't know how to say this. So, Elon Yzermans, the municipality's mayor, said that, quote, discriminatory messages opposing the democratic constitutional state are unacceptable. He added that our municipality attaches great importance to equality and tolerance. Mahdi announced that they would not extend his 3-year residence permit. And he also added, "We can no longer tolerate stigmatizing the gay community and spreading such messages. If you have the right to work as an imam in Belgium, you have an exemplary duty. Everyone who does not want to hold our values will have to bear the consequences." Like, well put. Authorities in Belgium are investigating the homophobic statements because they could, quote, disturb public order or national security. And then here's where I think we could have a little bit more of a debate. In addition to deporting the imam, authorities took legal action to revoke the Green Mosque's license. Bart Summers, the Domestic Affairs and Integration Minister, advised that he is taking legal action to revoke the mosque's license. City council officials in Houthlalen Hechteren
Helktaren, I think. Helktaren. I'm not sure.
Are also
Jeez,
considering,
Bethlehem.
yeah,
Belgium. I mean,
they're also considering legal proceedings against the mosque. So I actually don't think I necessarily agree with that. I mean, there might be more going on at this mosque that was not.
that's what I was going to
article
say.
that I
Like,
read, but that seems like collective punishment.
well, yes. And I also think that using the power of the state to, imprison or fine or get rid of the mosque's license or something because people have opinions that are prejudicial. I don't know. I mean, there's a difference, I think, between expelling someone who is applying for a permit to live in your country. You go through the checks of, is this person adhering to our values, our laws, whatever, versus, say, charging people with a crime for saying something discriminatory or bigoted. Now, if you said something like that to incite people to hurt other people, that's incitement to violence, and that's different. That's a crime. So, yeah, I'm not sure, but I don't know if you're right, though. Maybe something else is going on with the mosque that we're not aware of.
Yeah, if
it's just about those statements, that
if they're
seems a little...
revoking that mosque's license because of one dude's comments on Facebook, it wasn't even, very few of it was just his comments. Some of it was him agreeing with other people's comments or referencing other sermons given by other people.
Right. And who knows, though, what sermons he's giving inside the mosque, what he's saying, if he is inciting. I don't know. But if the whole mosque has to go because this guy said some stuff, yeah, it does seem a little bit like collective punishment. And it seems like, but, who knows? I don't know what else is going on with regard to that.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's some interesting comments. I don't know if you guys want to, which ones you want to read. Maybe the ones with the highest comments. No, that's not relevant here. Maybe just this one.
Yeah, again, someone saying kind of what we're saying earlier. Why do people move to Western countries if they hate Western ideals so much?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it really depends on the individual. Economic reason, just because, like, don't be so simple-minded. Like, I mean, it's good as a joke, but it's not like there's so many. I can give you so many different reasons. One could be very religious, going to the land of the unbelievers, spreading Islam. One could be completely selfish, thinking about, like, well, I don't have to, just because I'm against these ideas, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna not live here. This is better for my family, for myself, for my family. Some people might even be like, you know what, I get to live here and still complain. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't get to say that I don't like the values. If I live here, that means that I don't get to complain about the values around me. Like, I have to, like, do you apply this to anyone else? Do you think, like, if you're an American citizen and you don't like the, I don't know, Trump, does that mean that, and you don't like the values of that the government is being run by, does that mean that you have to stop being an American and leave? Like, so again, I'm not, if it's a joke, I get it, but I don't understand this, this line. But yeah,
There's a Kuwaiti sociologist who talks about this kind of thing, where he talks about, he was specifically talking about migrants and refugees coming from Syria and all these other countries. And he was using the discussion about Islam and how it doesn't serve them in reality. So even if they don't agree with these countries, they're risking their lives to come across the water to get to Europe, risking their children's lives when they could walk to Saudi Arabia without, it's closer, or, he was talking about how the values of Islam aren't serving them in reality, whereas they're looking, like you were saying, for economic reasons or education or, freedom or any of these other things. They end up in a lot of these Western European countries rather than in Saudi, the center of Islam. And it was just interesting how he framed it in that way, which I thought was very inclusive of understanding the whole picture, because he was talking about what you were talking about, some of the reasons why someone might move to a Western country over, say, Saudi, despite being highly religious. So I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it really depends on the individual, and unlike what most people think, a lot of a Muslim's life is not about Islam, right? Like, a lot of a Muslim's life has nothing to do with Islam, right? There are many other things that is part of the decision making. Another thing to also consider is that a lot of Muslims, even very religious Muslims, do not consider Islamic countries properly Muslim, or even Islam act,
Shariah.
like, no, like, a lot of Muslims, a lot of very religious Muslims are anti-Saudi Arabia's government, definitely anti-Iran's government, anti-Pakistani government, anti-Malaysia. Like, there's so many, like, many religious Muslims do not think any of these Islamic governments are being truly Islamic. So that's also, a lot of Muslims hate Saudi Arabia's government more than they hate, I don't know, even Israel's government. That's, so there's that. Okay, do you want to say
Just
something?
reminds me of that joke. Speaking of jokes, where they say, how many people vote for the Shariah? And 99.9% of people raise their hand. And they said, how many people vote to live under Shariah? No one person raises their hand,
Exactly. Okay, so let's go to the final news, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is every week. Our final news is about us and what's going on with us. And this week, boy, oh boy, children, do we have news for you. Okay. So can I get a clap from all three of us? Unmute yourselves.
Next news.
Okay. So a case involving Atheist Republic is to be heard before the Supreme Court of India.
Do you have anything to share on the screen?
Yes, I can. Give me 3 seconds. So, for those who are not familiar, we have been taking on the BJP. So, let me get the right application window. Here we go. And I'll do this and make it nice and big. So, Let's do a little, news and review. Okay. So, and then I'll give you what's happening now. So, back in October, we were made aware that a case was put before the Supreme Court of India that involves us. So, to clarify, like, we are not in any sort of necessary party, so to speak, to this. Like, we're not liable in any way. But this case directly says, provides Armin's tweets as evidence to the Supreme Court as to why they should put regulations on social media companies.
Wow.
Specifically, they want to hold Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc. directly responsible for spreading quote-unquote hate and fake news. So this is a public interest litigation, or PIL. I already know I'm going to say PLI because I'm dyslexic. So just a quick refresh. A petition has been filed, and again, this is in the end of October. So a petition has been filed in the Supreme Court seeking directions to make laws to regulate social media platforms and to hold Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and Instagram directly responsible for spreading hate speeches and fake news. The public interest litigation, or PIL, filed by our favorite Vineet Jindal through advocate Raj Kishore Chowdhury earlier this week, sought directions to the center to frame laws for criminal prosecution of persons involved with spreading hate and fake news through social media. So they're asking. So this is now going to bring criminal offenses against people. It requested the top court to direct the central government to establish a mechanism for automatic removal of hate speeches and fake news within a short time frame so that the counterproduction of such hate speeches or fake news can be minimized. The PIL further prayed that the government is directed to appoint an expert investigating officer in each case registered for spreading hate and fake news through social media platforms. So, just a government official somewhere deciding what you're allowed to talk about on social media, these supposedly private companies. Quote, a registered account is sufficient to start a channel, which provides a platform for uploading videos in the social media such as Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc., which means that anyone can float anything in the social media. There is no restriction or censor for their contents, and there is no regulations at all by the government, the plea said. The petitioner said that the plea was... Wait, where I lost my place. The plea was filed in the wake of 2 tweets by the name of one Armin Navabi on his Twitter handle. Armin Navabi.
That's me.
Against Hindu goddesses and using derogatory terms. Guys, a reminder is that derogatory term is sexy. That's hate speech, you guys. Calling goddess Kali sexy is hate speech, okay? And we need government officials to sit somewhere and decide exactly how derogatory that is and possibly, put criminal proceedings, on people because of that. It's not like they already use, 295A for the same purposes anyways. Sorry, I could go.
But what's interesting though is a lot of people in the United States and other countries are talking about this same issue because they perceive something else as being hate speech or hurtful, and that these private companies should somehow be responsible for this. And so in some of the instances, they may actually be talking about real physical harm. And some of them, they may actually just be talking about someone's offended feelings. But that's why these kind of laws are so dangerous. Because when you start deciding what people can and can't say, so then you have to appoint someone who's the arbiter of that. Well, who appoints the appointer, and then where's the line about what's hate speech and what's not, or what's derogatory and what's not. It's opinion, right? And is that line fixed or is it mutable, right? And if it's mutable, then how do you determine who's the decider of when you cross the line and how far you can push the line? And it just becomes more and more and more and more of a slippery slope. That's why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the people in charge today of deciding what's acceptable speech may not be the same people tomorrow either. So you're condemning your whole citizenry and potentially their children and their children's children to a fascistic system of arbitrary authority.
I think we did a whole episode, a stream a couple months ago where between me and Armin, where our legal counsel provided an entire breakdown of this case. Do you remember that? And specifically the penal codes and like why they
Okay. Yeah, but this article that you're sharing though is the old one. What's
Yes.
the up? Why is this now back on the news?
So okay. So here's the deal though. So we were talking to our legal counsel about this, and we're like, okay, so this was filed in October, like what's the next step? And our legal counsel was saying, well, you know, the court has to decide if they want to hear it, but it's likely that it'll actually just languish in the court system, or if it is heard, it'll likely be in the form of kind of conglomerating it with other cases that are involving similar things regarding social media and etc. Well, actually, we found out that they have issued notice. The Supreme Court has issued notice. What does this mean? This means that the Supreme Court has decided that they're going to talk about this. The Supreme Court has decided that they are going to talk about our content. The Supreme Court is going to talk about Sexy Kali, you guys. In the context of should social media companies be regulated or potentially have government officials who monitor.
So you're telling me that we brought Sexy Kali to the Supreme Court of India?
I think that you've arrived with that.
Yes, we actually have managed to make the Supreme Court of India this. By the way, let's actually show people when we say Sexy Kali. This is what we're talking about. Okay, this is where this Sexy Kali is where all of this butthurt started. Okay, I just want to.
You're welcome, India.
Yeah, first of all, you shouldn't be taking us to the Supreme Court. You should be thanking us. Like we were expecting, like gift baskets and thank you so much for.
I wanted a garland of marigolds.
For appreciating our culture and adding your own spin to it and improving it, some would say. I don't know who. I would say that. Improving the Indian culture, like and just being grateful, just being like, can you please do this to all our goddesses and gods and goddesses? Like, thank you so much, Susie. Thank you so much, Armin. Thank you so much, the artists of Atheist Republic and everybody. You know, like no. Instead, they take us to the Supreme Court, and I also want to be clear that. You know how some people say like, oh, the left is cancel culture, like they complain about censorship and cancel culture. And we do that as well. Right? But this is a good reminder for everybody to recognize when it comes to cancel culture, when it comes to censorship, nothing competes with right-wing censorship and cancel culture. Okay. Nothing, like when it comes to people in the West, for example, the left wing, saying like, oh, this is hate speech, that is hate speech. They have never even managed to get close to bringing this level of butthurt, this level of crying over calling your God sexy, to like at least when it comes to the left wing, like, oh, this is racism, this is like this is that, this is transphobia. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but it's like it comes from a legitimate concern. This is about don't call our God sexy. And they took this seriously enough not to just file it with the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court like, yes, this is serious enough. We will hear this. Like the fact that the Supreme Court of India actually considered this something that is worthy of their time shows the level of butthurt. Like again, I'm telling you, when right wing is in power, the censorship that you experience with is on a much higher level than left wing.
Oh, yeah.
Historically, that has been true, and now you could see in India this is also true. Okay, so and again, if they get even more control, the censorship is going to be and again, the censorship that we experience from the left is like, oh, you're going to get deplatformed from Facebook, YouTube, you're not going to get invited to this university, blah blah blah.
You lose your job.
We lose your job. We're talking government here, okay? We're talking the Supreme effing Court of India here, okay? This is not even comparable. And again, this is affecting these laws and these values and these regulations affects a higher number of people. We're talking about the world's largest political party. If you're an anti-right-wing activist, if you're a pro-secular activist, if you're a pro-free speech activists, if you're not paying attention to the BGP, to the world's largest political party on this planet, is a far right party that is influencing, that is having an impact on more people's lives than anything coming from, well, I mean, maybe China is comparable, but most other, like if you like seeing something happening in Europe or this country or that country or in Canada, and you're paying more attention to that as a global activist than what's happening in India, then you're not doing humanism right, okay? Unless you're focused on some certain countries. But if you consider yourself a global activist, India and the BGP right now, this is the greatest. The BGP is the greatest threat to secularism. It's the greatest threat to free speech, and more people are going to be impacted by this. And we're going to bring Sexy Callie to war. Sexy Callie is going to lead this war. We're going to try to bring the fact that this is you're so sensitive about this, that the little Atheist Republic has managed to find this sensitive spot that you guys get so triggered by, means that we could, like, this is asymmetrical warfare. That means that going against the greatest political party on the planet, we found this your weakness, and we're going to use this as a way to promote secularism, promote free speech, embarrass the BGP, embarrass the far right in India, and embarrass ethno-nationalism in India, and also, while we're at it, promote sex positivity. You guys are, it's funny how a lot of Hindus come out like, this is your Abrahamic mindset. But they don't understand that if they knew their own history at all, is that Hinduism wasn't this sex negative at all. It is the very Hindus that keep telling us that we have an Abrahamic mindset. They don't know that they have been influenced by Christianity and Islam, and that's why they're so sex negative, that they can't even handle one of their gods being called sexy. Okay, their Abrahamic mindset is affecting them, while they call us out for apparently our Abrahamic mindset. Anyways, Rivka.
One of the things I've noticed too in a lot of the criticism of this is also the fact that it's coming from outside India and that it's a modern interpretation. Because when I've had discussions with people about all the sexual content in so much historical Indian representation of gods and goddesses, the actual coitus and sexual acts carved on temples, the pictures of Kali also nude, showing, body parts, all kinds of phallic and yoni art. All of it is older. And I've noticed that for some reason they hold that as sacrosanct, and that's okay. But this, because it's a modern outsiders, and I think that's very important, interpretation of their goddess, then it becomes wrong, sinful, derogatory. And so to me, that shows a real sense of tribalism and a real sort of inability to see your society evolving into the future. That it's this mindset that what was in the past is good and okay as long as it was done in the past by us.
Well, there's one more thing, though. It's not that it's just any outsider. It's that it's an outsider that was a Muslim, too.
Ooh, yes, they hate that.
Right.
I have experienced anti-Muslim bigotry because of Sexy Cali. Straight up.
Because you get accused of being a Muslim because they don't like you.
Yes,
Right.
either because I'm associated with Armin, or they cannot comprehend that anyone who has anything that they perceive to be negative about their tradition or their attitude or their ideologies, they cannot comprehend that it could be anything except a Muslim who would say such things.
Right.
Just
Another example of the tribalism, the in-group, out-group, good people, bad people. So yeah, I find it really interesting that, someone said they didn't like it because they thought it was, the male gaze. And I remember saying, well, what's the difference between that and this other art? And it came down to the outsiders' interpretation.
Yeah, you mentioned that. It's my turn now. So this also shows the level of hypocrisy, okay? Because these are the same people who celebrate the fact that Hinduism affects other countries. Like every time people from outside of India are influenced in any way by either Indian people, or by Hinduism, or by anything India related, they highlight that. They see that as a reason for celebration. They see that as a reason for like bragging rights, right? But they don't accept that the other way around. So they're a bunch of hypocrites. Also, but Susie said regards to anything they don't like apparently as Muslim, they say that I'm not an ex-Muslim, I'm still a Muslim. They say once a Muslim, always a Muslim. They say this is Islam is in your blood. Apparently that's they say that. They can't comprehend that I criticize their views or be against Hinduism unless I'm a Muslim. And this is another reason why Rihanna recently is now, the conspiracy is being spread around that she's a Muslim.
No, it's not Rihanna. It's Rihanna. Sheikh Rihanna.
Amazing.
Amazing. Something like I don't know. Like, oh my god.
Okay.
If you
wait, this is great. Alif is also an ex-Muslim. Now that he knows that Islam is in your blood, he's saying, "Could I get a transfusion?" He's trying to get rid of his Islam. That's perfect. That's beautiful. That's amazing.
But guys, if you like this sexy Kali, you can get it on a shirt. So check out our shop. We even have Kali making out with Sita. So we have that on a shirt. That's why I wore this shirt today.
Can you show how do we do this?
Bring me back. I need
there.
No.
Oh wait. We did it at the same time. Here. There we go. This is Kali and Sita.
Yes. And if you like our bring me back normally. If you are into that, you can also see this is expanded into an entire project. Thank you to the Hindutva. So if you're interested in that, you can see how we have made an entire universe out of blasphemous art.
Blasphemous art, yes.
Yes.
So now, because of Hindutva, we have decided to make blasphemous art and continuous Atheist Republic project, and we're going after every religion.
Yes. So
every sacred cow, not just
go
religion.
to blasphemous.art.com and you can see, here's our latest Kali one that we call the Popsicle Shiva Lingam.
But go back to that one for people. That's again, all of this is on blasphemous.art.com. Go check it out. Go back.
If you are into this, but you're like, maybe I don't want it so sexy. I mean, because I get it. sometimes you're like, woof. No, go sign up to our newsletter and you get an entire booklet of all our blasphemous art for free. So go check this out, you guys.
Can you now go back to the Shiva Lingam one, the popsicle one? Oh, you're not going to share your screen.
Wait just a sec.
Yeah, this one, by the way, for people who don't know, that's the Shiva Lingam. That's Kali and Lakshmi licking the Shiva Lingam, which is supposed to be Shiva's genitals. We did get a...
We're going to say noise.
We did get a super chat, so we need to read this
one. Varun is saying, thank you for the $5, Varun. Saying, oh,
sorry.
Most of these Hindutva people relish criticism of Islam, but they lose appetite when you talk about Hinduism, which you can see demonstrated beautifully when you talk about Macron and Charlie Hebdo. Because I literally saw the same people who had a Macron photoshopped to look like a Brahmin, okay, in saffron and everything, in my replies abusing me over this stuff because of their goddesses. So, like, they can't even... It's just anti-Muslim bigotry. Like, they're not even supporting it because they're into free speech. They like it because they think this is their way of, like, sticking it to Muslims. And it's ridiculous. So, yes, we need real free speech in India. We're bringing it to them. We are also going to be working with the Internet Freedom Foundation of India.
Yeah, and also I just wanted this comment by Varun is saying most of these Hindutva people relish criticism of Islam, but they lose appetite when you talk about Hinduism. That's actually how it all started. The reason why we first make Sexy Cali is because I desecrated the Quran. And what was that website? OP India decided to cover it and celebrate it because they were just loving the fact that an ex-Muslim was desecrating the Quran. And all of a sudden I saw a spike in our Hindutva following, and I just want to make it clear to these Hindutva people what we're here about, because they're
I think it was Abdullah Samir who was like, guys,
oh yeah. And no, Abdullah Samir brought it to our attention that we're like a lot of Hindutva supporting us. We're like, okay. Like, just like I blaspheme against Islam, but let's be clear. We also here at Atheist Republic, we blaspheme against Hinduism.
We take your sacred cows and we turn them into burgers.
Yes, sacred cows make
beef. Yummy.
Yes, yeah. So so that's why we started posting Sexy Cali, and OP India regretted the fact that they celebrated my desecration of the Quran, and that's how all of this started. Anyways, cool. Again, thank you so much for the super chat. So anything else we want to say before we go? No?
No, you have a meeting you got to get to, so.
Okay, but I have a little bit of time. Rivka?
No, I just wanted to say that I think that it's a great campaign and everybody should join it because blasphemy isn't a crime. And they've elevated this now. They're using resources in the country of India that could be dedicated to preventing all of the actual crime that's happening, particularly against women in the country, but instead they're focusing on a picture that they're butthurt about.
Yes. So good news for Hindus? No. Yeah, exactly.
Good news for Hindus. We're gonna bring you more Sexy Cali, and if you knew what was good for you, you would be thanking us. So good news for Hindus. Ghost Bunny gave us a $2 super sticker, which is the thing that I don't understand yet. It apparently has a name. That fucks thing.
A Shiba Inu. It's a dog. It's a Japanese dog.
Okay, it's a Japanese dog. Fine. Thank you so much, Ghost Bunny, for the super chat. And yeah, all right, cool. We're gonna end this here. And guys, again, like Susanna said, make sure you get our blasphemous art. If you subscribe to our newsletter, you get the non-nude version of it, the safe for work. It's still very sexy.
No bobs in machine.
No bobs and vagine, just sexiness. Sexiness without the nudity. Free to our newsletter subscribers. Link in the description. Our patrons get the 18 plus nude version, so you're welcome. Yeah, link to that in the description. Check it out.
So we're bringing Bob's and Vagine to them.
Yes, we heard their call.
They
We
wanted
heard-
Bob's and
they-
Vagine.
we
Here it
bring Bob's
is.
and
You got
Vagine.
it. One
You got
man,
Bob's and
he
Vagine.
betrayed the Indian army. He was selling state secrets to the
Yes.
ISI to Pakistan for some
Bob.
nudes and a long conversation. So we're
Yeah.
doing you guys a favor. We are helping the national security. of
Exactly.
India, okay? And the music guy is saying, and
And
you
you
deliver.
Yes, that's what we do. That's what we do. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.